Hey, boys and girls, weather report for August 2nd, 2021. What am I? 25,776 days old today. It's my birthday.
I can't believe it's August already.
Yeah. Anyway, so Dessel's been putting a bunch of papers in the side chat or in the chat, and all
He's
the
been
papers
trolling us with science.
Yeah, well, all the papers are correct, but he's wrong about which papers he's picking. So.
Yeah, I figured he'd find a way to do it wrong.
Yep, he's always fucking doing that. I don't know what that guy.
How can somebody fuck up so much stuff? I don't understand that.
I know.
Yeah, just
yep. Everything. Okay, so we've got. Well, first of all, Stated Casually did a video, which I got. Did you watch the entire thing, Scott?
Yeah, all but the last probably 20 minutes of it.
Yeah, so he had a whole bunch of information about the virus. Like a lot of really good information about the virus.
Yeah, not only that, like information about how it goes from bats to those coffee pooping animals, and then into humans.
Yep. Well, let me just see if Dessel wants to come in.
Plus, he does a breakdown of, when Fauci was talking to the Senate and Rand Paul gave him a hard time about this one paper. John Perry does a kind of a review of that paper, just letting us know exactly what it's about and what it means by gain of functionality, and was Fauci in the wrong or in the right. It's a really good video to watch. Yeah. It'll kind of scare the crap out of you in a couple places, but
I just love Fauci's performance when he he was angry and he just came after him. It was wonderful. That is a wonderful clip to watch all by itself.
Yeah, it's good watching him be able to clap back. Although John Perry, he kind of thinks Fauci maybe be not really like illegal, but it's still in the wrong in his position on this. But yeah, it's a good video to watch, and it was very satisfying to see Fauci get to clap back without fear of being fired or something.
But he also points out that this was 2017. Relationship was very different with China, and we were seriously trying to find out. Because of the SARS attack, we were seriously trying to prevent another attack, which happened, and so they're kind of, I guess the idea is that the laboratory made the virus, and I don't think it needed to. We've already had these COVID viruses popping up, or SARS viruses popping up left and right since when? 2010 or something like that, or 2008. I can't remember when the first was. So I mean, they were genuinely concerned, and we decided to finance that research effort, right?
Exactly.
And it is possible that something can go wrong. They've got to be goddamn careful with viruses. Viruses are really tiny, as we saw in that size video that Andrew Cumming did the other day.
Yeah, that was a really powerful video.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Speaking of Andrew Cumming,
yeah,
where is that young man?
I don't know. I invited that young man, so I don't know what he's doing. Hard to say. So I put a picture of Pickles for today's thumbnail, and I was searching for ADD confusion, and then I thought about I'm in a pickle. I'm in a pickle.
Mhm.
I listed all the things that I want to do and all the projects that I've got going, and I ran out of paper. And I've got a 24-inch newsprint pad. I need help.
Well,
Somebody help me.
you're just a very industrious person, and you like to keep busy. There's nothing wrong with that.
I got so many things rattling around in my head that I can't even sometimes function half the time. I mean, it's just like, oh my God. Now I'm reading about Golgi apparatus because I thought, how in the fuck does that thing? Do you know what the Golgi apparatus is?
Actually, I do not.
Okay. Son of a bitch. We went over this, Scott. Okay. 2.5 months ago. 2.5 months ago in a weather report, we went over this. No, we went over this.
Oh, my day for watching old weather reports is Tuesdays that happen to be leap days.
Yeah. Well, you got your nucleus, and then you got the endoplasmic reticulum, which is kind of continuous with the nuclear membrane. And it looks like a big stack of pancakes, that are all interconnected with each other. And then outside of that, you have something called the Golgi apparatus. Maybe it's Golgi. I don't know. I like Golgi. The Golgi apparatus is another stack of pancakes that goes like between the cell membrane and between the endoplasmic reticulum, which everybody knows is where proteins are created, or a lot of them are created. Okay. We know that. And then the protein goes into the Golgi apparatus, into the cis end, and it gets processed all the way through to the trans end. And then that's how cell membranes are created. But I asked the question of myself this morning, how in the fuck is the Golgi apparatus itself created? Right? Good question.
It has to be God.
Turns out we don't really know for sure yet, at least as of
Therefore God.
Yeah. So anyway, but I'm looking into the molecular biology of how the membranes for the Golgi apparatus are created, and that's what I was doing today, and what I should have been doing. Remember, I was going to study mammary glands. Well, where the fuck did that go? And then ERVs, where the fuck did that go? And then I was going to do natural selection. I was going to do natural selection with Danny, and then I decided to start doing a video for education, and then I wanted to do a bug show with Brian, and then I asked myself, why are dog legs short and long? And then fucking Dessel piled on another 20 papers today. It's like
Dessel.
Wrong Dessel. Anyway, life. So
yeah, you got way too much shit going on. Way too much shit.
I need some advice.
Yep.
Try to learn how to use that fucking video software. That's another challenge. Oh, and I'm writing programs too. 2 of them, in fact. One for scraping YouTube and another one for fucking molecular modeling small RNAs.
I'll look up a good psychiatrist in the area and see if he can do a house call or something.
God, I've got a half a dozen of them already.
I wonder if they have. I wonder if they have like a what do they call those? Like an not an Instagram.
Instacart. Yeah, Instacart.
Yeah, psychiatrist. They can go to your house and.
Yeah. So I told Scott about this. I went out to water my chokecherries and lilacs because we haven't had much rain here. And so my son was going for a walk, and he gets in his car and he drives down to the park. So he got in his car, and I always run the hose out through the same door that he uses to get his car out. So while he was getting out, I made sure he didn't run me over, because he has less. I mean, if you can imagine, he is about 100 times less aware than I am. And so I very carefully walked way out by the trees so that he wouldn't run me over on the way out. And I started watering plants, and then I looked over as his car left down the street and realized he closed the fucking garage door. So there I am, stuck outside. With all these things to do, I'm stuck outside. So I go sit on a chair, and the chair had a bunch of spiders on it, which are really cool, but I didn't have any means of capturing them, so there was that. And so I sat on a chair and stared at the woods for an hour. And And I realized I do not go outside that much. I do not sit on a chair and stare at the woods often enough. And it was actually a wonderful thing that he locked me out, because our house is like fucking Fort Knox. There's no way to break into this fucking place without, actually splintering things. So, so I'm sitting out there meditating and thinking about what the fuck am I doing?
You don't have a push pad on your garage door?
Nope, we don't have a push pad, and if we did, I wouldn't remember the fucking number anyway. Because
Well, you should hide. Why don't you hide a key outside?
I did.
I can hide it. Yeah,
Well, he's
did.
got raccoons. The raccoons will
Or-
take it. And
No, I hit a key outside and I buried it underground, like about 6 inches down. I know exactly where it is.
Well, there you go.
Unfortunately, I built a cat fence that is raccoon proof around the key where I buried it. So I can't get into the backyard either. So
I think you should ask your raccoons for advice because you're not very good at that.
yeah, they're very good at
Ask
breaking
them.
in.
They're smarter than you, so
Yeah, they
ask
know how to
them.
break it.
They'll let you know.
I could have had one of them give me a key.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Anyway, quite a conundrum. So, Otangelo.
Oh boy.
Hey, we don't talk enough about John Maddox.
Yeah, that's true.
He was on. He was talking to Germania the other day, and he was apparently very butthurt that Germania is hanging out with us.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he was saying, "Oh yeah, Germania wants to be part of the pudding gang and all this stuff." And
hey, did you
It's
send
going on
Berman
now.
a link? He's in the side chat.
oh, he is. Okay.
Yeah, he might give
Yeah.
his point of view.
Yeah. Hey, my birthday,
Maddox.
25,776.
It is definitely he is a box of rocks. Dumb as a box of rocks, obviously.
Yeah, and then he was
shit.
saying, "Oh, they're so I haven't done a video in months, and they're so obsessed with me. They, every day they do a thumbnail about me, and it's like,
Yeah.
and he still hasn't caught on to that part of the joke. But I
Yeah.
decided I was going to do it again today, but then I decided I'm misleading my viewers because they come here hoping that it's going to be about Maddox, but it never is. So
Yeah, I know.
but anyway, Maddox, it's a fucking joke, idiot. We
know.
purposely don't talk about you. We don't have anything to say about you.
You are
because
definitely irrelevant for sure. That's for sure. But
you are irrelevant. Yeah. And
definitely.
we're fucking with you every day. Almost we have fucked with you for the last month or two, and you're not getting it. It's like, oh, you're obsessed with me. I don't know why they're obsessed. We're not.
Oh, you know what I got to do? I should go on one of his. Somebody made a really funny comment on one of his community posts. I was reading a few of the community posts one day a while ago, and somebody made a really funny comment. It was obviously an atheist and giving John a hard time. And, you know how, I mean, every one of his, either whether he writes comments in a side chat or his community posts, everything is all the YouTube atheists are just stupid, right?
Yeah.
That's all he says, right? So somebody wrote, I should look it up and read it, because it's, they were writing, that's a great way to hide, that's it, John, keep up the good work, call all the atheists on YouTube dumb to hide the fact how stupid you are, or something like that. They wrote.
Yeah, the
pretty good.
goddamn thing is when somebody is truly not good at, I don't know about stupid or intelligence or IQ or anything like that, but it is obvious that these Christians do not know how to think. Okay, they've never actually learned the skill of logical reasoning and reasoning, and a lot of us have. And when you do have a high IQ and you're listening to somebody like that calling you stupid because you don't get that 5 + 3 is equal to 12. It's like, oh, it's so obvious that 5 + 3 is equal to 12. It's like, you don't get it because you're stupid. It drives you fucking crazy listening to these guys get shit so wrong, fail at every reasoning test, like Otangelo yesterday with that Ferguson.
Yeah.
I mean, Ferguson just did perfectly clear, simple logic about the Big Bang and a number of other things. And Ortangelo sat there with this look on his face, like he was kind of butthurt and not listening at the same time.
Yeah.
Well,
And then comes
RJ Downer calls that his potted plant look.
oh boy, thank you, RJ.
Oh, that's a good one.
Potted plant look. Oh fuck RJ is special.
Yeah, it was just a potted plant.
That
When,
is
I think he dubbed him a potted plant whenever they had that debate about Noah's Ark with Ortangelo there, and then that other guy who believes they found the Ark, but and is going to write a paper on it someday. It's almost ready. You know, give it a few years, and ever since then, that's all I ever think about when I watch him in a debate. Is he does look like a potted plant.
He does. Yeah, so let's see. Okay, I put that one in the description and I haven't saved it yet. Now, then right after that, he did another video with Martin. I think
it goes by Martin, but it looks like Martin.
One thing.
It looks like Martin because there's two A's. So technically it's Martin, not Martin. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to point that out. Just so you know. Open mic chat. Where is it? Open mic
I mean,
chat?
these guys just have no humility whatsoever. Like they, Maddox, Ortangelo. I mean, these guys, they go on and they get absolutely humiliated. But all their Christian buddies will say, those stupid atheists, they just don't get it. And I can't see how they, so they get that encouragement from their buddies, but they just don't get the fact that they were just completely humiliated.
Their belief is so strong that they do not see that they made a logical leap.
Right. Yeah.
From that is unjustified. And we keep asking him, and Ferguson was going on asking him about it, asking him for evidence, and Ortangelo was saying, well, you can't provide evidence. I can't prove that God exists. And then going back and asking Ferguson to prove that something about the Big Bang. Okay. And it just, I mean, he was using exactly the same criteria, except a little differently.
I think the term is non sequitur. He gave out responses that had nothing to do with the question being asked.
Yeah. Well, and then him and Martin were talking, and I clipped just a few things from that I thought were curious about, because I was surprised by Martin that he also seemed to completely fail at reasoning.
Yeah.
Because he is definitely a lot brighter.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Ortangelo, he is just so desperate to believe, and I mean, talk about gullible, right? I mean, if he's so gullible and so desperate to, or just wants to believe that his religion is true, I mean, to believe in the Shroud of Turin, to believe that Noah's Ark was found, all that stuff is just a joke, it really is. And he believes it all. And it's just because he's just so desperate. He wants to believe. And I would love to sit down and talk with him, try to give him a little advice and say, D'Angelo, I know, I'm sure it wouldn't, but he's just the way he's going about it. I mean, he was kind of close a little bit with Ferguson, and I mean, basically he just has to say, you know what, I choose to believe it because of, and talk about the utility of his religion or, or something. I mean, he just believes in all these arguments. He believes in the Kalam. He believes, in any type of argument that he can put out there for abiogenesis and whatever. I mean, him, he throws every argument against the wall to see what will stick. And he's terrible at all of them. And all the arguments are terrible, but he truly believes in them, so.
This is hot off the press here, right, Scott? Fossils of
Yeah,
ancient
it came up in
sponges.
my that Windows, Microsoft Windows feed that comes on the computer. I've seen something about sponges, you know, in various news articles. I haven't read that one. I just thought I'd just throw it out there for anybody interested.
Yeah,
So
890 million years. Holy shit.
890.
Yeah, so that would push eukaryotes back because I think we had like a 700 million year estimate, but they may have pushed that back for other reasons. Okay, found the earliest. I may have found the first. Okay, I wonder how reliable these fossils are. So let's see. Many scientists had believed the first animal groups included soft sponges. There's I don't know, what do we say here? Okay, life on Earth emerged 3.7 billion years ago, and scant before the Cambrian. And there's the scientist, Elizabeth Turner. Oh, I've seen her before. Those kinds of fossils belong to more complicated animals. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? So, how do we find the fossil? What next up in news? That's it. I think that's it. Anyway, there's that, and we link that in the description for caring people. Are we caring people? You two got awful
No.
fucking students.
No, we're not very caring.
I don't
Well,
have
at
that
least,
problem.
according to the Christians, anyway, they don't think we are.
Yeah, well, we have no foundation for caring.
Yeah, it's not grounded in a super duper ultimate mega grounding. Blah blah blah. Well, look, we got Jay Patrick standing for truth, and Brenda.
Yeah.
And,
I haven't
and
seen
Jason
Brenda.
also left us a side chat comment. Very nice. Good to have you all aboard.
SFT is dumber than Kent Hogan. Yep.
Who said that?
Brenda.
Yeah.
And standing for truth is here. Jason Torn agreed he was awesome in ZSJL. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Zack Snyder.
Oh,
Justice League.
Justice League. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I gotta watch that yet. That's all like a 4-hour commitment, right?
Yeah, it's a commitment of your life. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess you could break it up into small segments.
Wait a minute. Let me put that on my list here. Okay.
Yeah, it's not big enough, that list.
So, do you guys find it funny that how, especially little Pee-Pee, like, it considers us the enemy? And a lot of Christians do, right? I mean, I think even Tangelo thinks that. It's like with the enemy.
It's encouraged by their Bible.
Yeah.
The cultic aspects of Christianity to otherize a group of people that is different from you.
Yeah. It's pretty sad.
That's a human trait, but it's encouraged in the New Testament.
Can you guys hear?
I can hear you.
Okay. So, what the hell StreamYard talking about?
I don't know.
Seems to have temporarily lost connection to my mic. Is the mic sound all fucked up?
No, it sounds very clear.
Fine. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. One more thing I gotta fucking worry about. Oh my god. Okay. Bond, make sure to get a pump before you watch it. What? What's a pump?
I don't know what they're talking about.
I'm just grouchy. Brenda's grouchy. Okay. Brenda Gurr. Gurmania. Standing for truth. Always do. Jim is right next to the movies. Oh, get a pump. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Are you one of those people that go and like, yo, we got to go to the gym and get pumped up before we watch a movie?
Oh, that kind of pump.
Yeah. If I get a pump, the last thing I want to do is watch a movie. Usually end up wanting to take a fucking bath and take a nap and some ibuprofen. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, taking ibuprofen. That's just what I do every morning.
Oh, look who's here now.
Martin.
Yeah,
It's Martin. We're just going to go over a
Yeah.
little Martin.
Yeah, we were just going to do a little bit.
We'll do a little Martin. Where's this
I hope
guy?
you didn't say anything really dumb.
He did.
I didn't watch it. I think I only watched a couple minutes of this, and that was it. I didn't really watch much of it.
Okay, let's see. Where's the good parts?
Poor Martin said.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna roll it and see what he said.
I think the best evidence for God is a cumulative evidence. So thousands of pieces of paper cuts slowly, cumulatively showing something
paper
to be true.
cuts?
The same in
Sorry, what did you say?
in a court
Paper
case.
cuts.
There's cumulative evidence that proves the
Paper
person is
cuts?
guilty.
Paper cuts.
Paper cut. Oh, the
Yeah,
death by
thousands of
cuts thing.
Yeah, death by thought. He describes belief that way. So anyway, so he's saying that yes, and I was talking about that the other day, and that's called an intuitive belief. That if you analyze why you believe in something, it always amounts to all of these thousands of different facts or hundreds of facts and things that you've seen. Like for instance, if you watch Fox News a lot and you get like an idea about the vaccine, and you start looking at it, if you start digging into your mind about all the things you know about that subject, you will come up with a little list of little blurbs that you've listened to here and there. And what happens is our mind, remember I was talking about going to Walmart? Like you imagine how to go to Walmart and you skip like thousands of steps.
Yeah.
You miss the oak tree, you miss all the details, right?
Mhm.
You miss like a lot of turns and a lot of streets and a lot of traffic lights and all of that. And you just go to the conclusion. So that's how our brains work. Our brains have this tendency. A belief is a disposition to believe, right? When you see something, you automatically are disposed to believe it is a certain thing or a certain way. And the way you reason is you go through and you pick out all of those things that you can remember that go into that idea or that observation, and you deal with each one individually, okay? And you assess the value and the weight of each one, and then you re-add it up. So the brain is a lot like a calculator. It sums all of those intuitive little fragments that you have rolling around in your head from your life experience, and it comes up with a very knee-jerk, right now, quick decision, go right or left, right?
Yeah, sort of like how you develop muscle memory, and you can execute certain steps or whatever without even knowing you're doing it.
It is exactly like that, and in fact, it uses some of the same areas of the brain as your muscle memory does, or your ability to move. So that's how we think. So the idea is to go through each individual thing, and Martin seems to think that's a good way to come to a conclusion. But yes, it is if you analyze each individual thing. And he may have, they look at the biblical evidence and but then they look at all this garbage that they've heard from preachers like Standing for Truth and hucksters like Standing for Truth, who's too afraid to come into my channel, by the way. And they get a bunch of factoids from him, and they put all those factoids into that bag, and so they have an idea about biology. And biology, the only way it can work is with intelligence, because they have put so much shit in the bag that unexamined shit that they think they've examined because they think they got it from a reliable source, the huckster, who is afraid to come into my channel and talk to me one-on-one. So they basically have all these beliefs, and they just keep going with them. And now, on the other hand, I have a lot of reasons why I believe in evolution. So I too have a bag of little one-off notes, and facts, and that's where we come up with it. And the thing is that what everybody keeps in their bag is different. So that's why we tend to have different beliefs and we argue and whatever. So, right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, like you said, they seek out, you know, in the wrong places for their information. You know, they seek out these Christian channels or whatever. So of course you're going to get that view, the view that they want. They're not seeking out, you know, what science is actually saying or what, you know, whatever they're investigating. They're not really looking for the actual truth. They're looking for anything that's going to support their belief. And, you know, it's typical of what Antangelo does. And Maddox, Maddox reads a paper and reads the abstract and learns a couple of new special words and he's off to the races, right? And that's it.
I'm trying to find Martin's email. I don't know if I have it or not. Let me see, because we're talking about him. So, and he's in the chat, so I thought I'd offer. Nope, I can't find it.
Yeah, we got all kinds of. We got the whole crew here. We got Jason's here now. Dave
found it.
Smokey's here.
Yeah.
Hey, we got the whole crew. Holy shit, we're popular today.
And sending Martin an invite. It's the fair thing to do, right?
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Yep. But I'm not sending one to D'Angelo.
He won't come anyway. Maybe he would. I shouldn't say that.
Otangelo is a loyal subscriber. He has unsubbed and subscribed to my channel more than anybody else has. He has unsubbed and subbed to my channel over 400 times. So he's my most loyal subscriber.
Good for Martin. He believes in theist evolution. At least he believes in part of the evolutionary theory, I guess, it says.
Yep. Okay, let's see what he says.
It's much easier.
Let's see what he says.
To just be super skeptical of anything someone provides. Like, you can ask them to provide you evidence that they exist, and then you start just explaining away the evidence. Like, especially when they type, then you can start making excuses for the evidence. Like, how do we know you're not a computer program? We know computer programs can type like that, and you can just start explaining.
I have never doubted the existence of anybody I've talked to.
Nope.
So
here he is.
Martin. How you doing, sir?
Hey.
Hi, guys. I feel like your picture.
Let's get to the good part.
Don't doubt the existence of me, man. I hope. No matter.
Okay, we're playing something. Hang on.
How stupid it sounds. They would run to it.
Yes.
Like, I mean, each world, all the worlds we know of, all come from a creator. Like, even the worlds we create come from creators. And all the machines we know of and all the programming code we know of all come from intelligence. And now they say, no, but we're special. We don't come from intelligence. Like, we are the one miracle.
Martin? The Earth doesn't come from intelligence, Martin.
And do you know how many people never said that?
Like, you can say the same in a created virtual world, that it doesn't directly come from intelligence. There's a lot of steps back we have to go. Even when I'm talking to you guys, it goes through the mic. You can like trace it back. There's thousands of different steps that happen automatically before it gets to you guys. But the initial input as an intelligence is an intelligence. If that makes sense.
Okay, but what if what causes the intelligence to start creating something? Like, okay, give me an example of an intelligence that builds worlds that isn't a human being.
Okay, not a human being. Don't you think if there's other intelligence, they would also build worlds if they're intelligent enough?
Yeah, like us, build things like you're used to humans because we're tool making critters, right? We're an organism that uses tools. and ants kind of do it too, and some termites, and some. I mean, there are other traces, but we are really good at it. So the only example that you have of something that builds things is human beings.
Well, animals don't they count as well?
Sure, but do you have an example of an animal that built a planet?
No, because they're not intelligent enough yet.
Okay, so you have to be really intelligent to build a planet.
You have to be really intelligent to build a world and to build a DNA code.
Right.
And the machines that actually read it, the nanomolecular machines that read the DNA code and carry out the commands written in it. They execute the commands.
So you see the problem with that. Okay, we've never done that. We're not intelligent enough to do that. So we have no example at all of anything intelligent enough to build a world, to build a planet, to build life. We can't do it. We have no example of anything intelligent enough to do that. What you're doing is you're projecting your own intelligence onto Superman-like characters that are much more intelligent than you, and much okay, but it isn't just intelligence, Martin. In order to build life, I mean, we could figure out how to build life, but we would still need a lot of technology and tools in order to actually pull that off. Now, imagine that we figured out we know how to build a planet, right? You just get a bunch of rocks, fling them together until you have something the size of the Earth. But what kind of technology would we have to develop in order to do that? So there's two things here. There's more than just intelligence. There's intelligence, and there's the technology required to execute and actually build the thing that you're trying to build.
What do you think about people building nanomolecular machines? Scientists already like building our own nanomolecular machines, like simulating that it requires some intelligence to actually construct your own nanomolecular machines. And so we also change the programming code so that it follows our commands that we give it. So how do you realize like when it's intelligence and when it's not?
Well, that's the key. That is the question. When you look at a cell, when you look at the DNA code, right? We ask the question, how could that code have gotten there through natural means? Okay, and we have a lot of answers to those questions. Okay, we know that there are certain amino acids that were more abundant. There was a small subset of them, and we know that that RNA are involved in that translation process. And there are some papers on the statistics of that process that indicate that code actually was statistically probable. Okay, and that's kind of, and we don't know all the answers yet. We don't know that whole story yet, but that's because we're stupid primates. We're apes. Okay, and we're not smart enough. So there again, you don't have an example of something that is smart enough to understand life and create life. Yet you imagine this God character, and you pulled that out of your ass, Martin.
Can I ask you a question, Martin?
Go for it.
I mean, when obviously when you look at the planet Earth, right? I mean, do you see it operating in a natural way? I mean, you see animals, living and dying. You see all these different ecosystems, everything, plants living and dying. We've looked at our whole history. We have a pretty good idea on what the history has been on planet Earth. We look up into the sky, we see suns being formed and planets being formed. We have all that stuff down in physics. I mean, all of that stuff is operating naturally every day. I mean, do you see that, or do you see it completely different from that?
Yeah, I think a creator is totally natural, and I think our computers also work naturally, and I think even animals build structures, but it still is pointing towards intelligence. And those structures they build is nothing compared to the DNA code. And
I understand where you get that, but my question was, do you see everything operating naturally? As far as our ecosystems and our planet, and you look out at the stars and everything is formed without any supernatural help. I mean, I don't.
But I
mean-
don't see a creator as supernatural. I think it's totally natural. We see creators making DNA code all the time. So it's totally natural for another intelligence to make code. We see it happening all the time.
Okay. So where does your God fit in there then?
I think
If-
a creator intelligence made the code at the base of life. That's what I think is the most logical conclusion according to me. But
Okay,
I
wait a
could be
minute.
wrong.
So
Let me push back there. Okay,
Go for it.
logic is a mathematical means to test the validity of arguments. Okay, it's not a logical argument. You think it's the most rational thing. You think it's the most reasonable. Logic is very different than what the way you guys keep using it. So don't do that.
Can't it be
please.
both?
Anyway, okay. So you think you have a logically valid argument, but what is intelligence, Martin? What is it? How would you define intelligence?
I think it's like intelligence can create things.
How?
You even get artificial intelligence.
Okay.
So,
Hold your hands up behind your head right now, or lock your hands behind your head and create something for me with your intelligence.
Yeah, I would love to see an example of intelligence creating anything.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of a single example in the history of the universe where intelligence has created something.
Exactly.
really?
Can you create?
Aren't we an intelligence that create things? Like
No.
aren't we
No,
intelligent?
not intelligence. Intelligence does not create things.
So don't you
create something-
require
can you use-
intelligence
can
to
you-
create things?
Intelligence might be required to create things, but intelligence does not create things. Can you create right now something with intelligence? Do you have a piece of paper
Like
handy?
you require intelligence to create things. Like even artificial
Sure,
intelligence.
that's fine. But that is not your claim. Your claim is that intelligence itself can create things. Do you have a piece
No,
of
you
paper
know
handy?
you know what I mean. Like
Well, but what you mean is incompatible with what you're trying to say. Because if what you mean is that intelligence is required to create some things, but you're trying to get to the point that a god created things, the problem is that entity that you're trying to describe does not have those properties that we know are also required to create things, that being a material existence. Show me a single thing in the history of the universe created by intelligence alone, operating without a physical substrate.
Or lock your hands behind your head and create something with your intelligence right now without doing anything else.
Can you?
Yeah, I can do that.
You?
I create
can you-
words. There you go for it.
You use your vocal cords.
Yeah.
You see,
I put my hands
not
behind my
intelligence
back and I
alone.
still create things.
Not intelligence alone. So, can you give an example, a single example in the history of the universe where intelligence alone created something?
I don't think you know what I mean when I refer to intelligence creating.
Then you
Yeah,
congratulations,
I'm
you
not-
ruled out God. You have ruled out God. God is now no longer an option.
Why
Thank
not?
you. Because your God does your God have a physical substrate?
Jesus has.
Okay,
Like, Jesus has a physical body at the moment, but he doesn't need it. Like
Not now.
okay, so Jesus had a physical body when the universe was created.
he doesn't need it.
Okay, so
Just
so
like
you're
we
saying,
don't need it. You're
okay,
gonna realize.
then your example is not your example is a contradiction. Your example contradicts your own point, because if what you're saying is I know what you mean, you're saying that I know what you mean, because what you mean is that intelligence plus other things create things. I agree. Intelligence operating through a physical substrate creates things. But we have no examples of intelligence operating absent a physical substrate creating things. And that is what you're trying to suggest. So unless you have evidence of intelligence operating absent a physical substrate creating things, stop trying to suggest that intelligence absent a physical substrate can create things.
I'm just trying to make you realize that there's evidence for an intelligent creator. You can think it's aliens or whatever you want. You can think it has a body, or if you really want to. But
Well, so I would argue that there's actually not evidence of that. But the point is that at best, what you can do is you can point to there must have been some intelligent entity with a physical substrate, because that's the only kind we know of that can create things. But that's not where you want to go.
Yeah, I know, but that's later. Like, if you want to be
No.
physical,
The thing is
if
that
you
you're
only accept
still
physical,
wrong.
then I'm what?
I mean, you're obviously still wrong, but the point is that if you're trying to get to an argument to the best explanation, right? From well, we know intelligence can do these things. Well, not absent a physical substrate, it can't. Right,
Yeah,
and that's the point.
You can say that. I don't believe that, but you can say that, and then
Then give me the example. Where's the example?
Like what?
You just said you don't believe that. You said that you don't believe that to what I just said. And what I just said is that we have no example of intelligence without a physical substrate creating things. So give me your example. If you don't believe it, give me your example of intelligence absent a physical substrate creating something.
Yeah, but like I'm saying now, if you don't want to accept
so you
that,
do believe.
You can use both. I'm just trying to show you that there's
So you do
evidence
believe
for intelligence. Like
so,
that's all.
So you're saying you do believe you do believe that there are no examples of intelligence absent a physical substrate creating things. You do believe that.
I'm not sure. My knowledge is this small against all the infinite amount of knowledge there is, and yours as well. And I'm telling you, in that little bit, I know.
Sorry. You either have an example. You either have an example of intelligence absent a physical substrate creating something, or you don't. If you don't, then you know of nothing. You know of no examples of intelligence absent a physical substrate creating something. So you do believe that that's true about yourself.
I don't need an example. Like you see, it's like a computer. If the people inside the computer game would not realize that there's people outside the computer that has physical bodies while they don't have physical bodies in a computer, or they have fake physical bodies in a computer. Like it just appears these bodies, but it's not real physical touchable bodies.
Okay, so do we have an example of a simulation that was not created by entities with physical substrate?
Yeah, a computer can create it.
But the computer has the computer has a physical substrate now, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the intelligence is not like
the intelligence in the computer is operating off the computer's physical substrate. So again, if we don't have an example of a simulation being created by something absent a physical substrate, you cannot use the existence of simulations that we do know about that are created by things with physical substrate to prove anything absent a physical substrate. That's not how this works.
You can believe that, but I'm saying that there's lots of evidence.
Then what's the counterexample?
All I'm saying.
Then what's the counterexample?
What do you want me?
Well, if you believe it's false, then what's the counterexample?
No, I'm saying there's lots of evidence for intelligence, and you go with steps to what I believe, but there's lots of steps between. That's why I can't just say it in one sentence to get to the final step. You understand? Or one piece of evidence to get you to the final place. I'm just trying to show you that there's evidence for intelligence. There's lots of evidence for intelligence.
Well, I think that
DNA is just one.
I think there's lots of evidence that you interpret as being evidence for intelligence. So but that's not the same thing.
Like, let me give you an example. Okay, scientists know. Okay, they're listening into the space to hear any form of communication, like a code or anything, because they know intuitively that it comes from intelligence. Like code normally specified information, especially when it gives commands, then it even more points to intelligence. And now we find the same thing in at the bottom.
What you just said is already incorrect. So physicists and astronomers are listening, right? They're listening for radio broadcasts, coded radio broadcasts, because the only source of coded radio broadcasts that we're aware of, right, are produced by civilizations able to produce radio transmitters. That is not the same thing as saying that the only known source of code is intelligence. Now, is it?
It is.
No, it's not.
Only known. Do you know of another source of code other than that intelligence?
Sure, biology.
No, I'm talking about initial input from intelligence. Without the initial input of
Yes,
intelligence.
biology. Biology did
How?
not have an initial input of intelligence.
No, that's your assumption. Like, give me another example. Like,
Why do
give
I
me
have
an
to give you
example.
2 examples?
Because that you're just assuming that it came into existence without initial input of intelligence.
You're
Well,
just
I have
assuming it
thousands
didn't.
of examples. Yeah, because I have thousands of examples that it each time comes from an intelligence, either from a artificial
Well,
intelligence or
okay. I'm sorry. Okay. An example of right. So E. coli. You want a second example? Homo sapiens. You want another example? Canis lupus. You want another example? I can give you more. I can give you
I'm talking
thousands.
about.
I'm not off the top of
I'm
my head.
talking from scratch. I'm talking from scratch. I'm not talking after a program is made. It can run on
okay.
its
So
own.
in that case, if you're talking about from scratch, then you have 0 examples, because the only examples that you have are produced by biology, right? And so that's not from scratch. So you have 0 examples, and I have 1, so I win.
You really think it's like saying a computer has many examples of making programs on its own after it has been created, but you need that initial input of intelligence.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right. That's the thing. After it's been created by the humans who are created by biology. So that goes back to my example, not yours. So far I have 1 example, you have 0.
Yeah, because if you're going to tack on to what CRISPR's saying there, if you're talking about something that makes everything from scratch, that means he started with ingredients. But where did the ingredients come from? If everything is created by this intelligence, where do the ingredients come from?
They
to make everything from scratch.
I don't know.
What's worse, getting everything from scratch without intelligence, or getting everything with intelligence?
No. Think about what I just said, though. But where do you get the scratch ingredients from? You're talking about an intelligent agent making everything from nothing. If you have an intelligent agent that creates everything, that means it creates all the ingredients that it needs to make everything from scratch. Do you have any example of an intelligent agent creating the ingredients from scratch to make things from scratch?
Example is a virtual world. From scratch, out of nowhere.
Well, it's from the computer, isn't it?
Using something.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like,
you would just something else.
Like, if you go back in time, you just see it pop into existence, and it still comes from an intelligence.
From a computer.
Even if, say, we were in a computer program, and I showed you all the programming code.
Okay, but you cannot use a simulation.
And then you would say, no, it's
as
not
a counterexample,
because
we have no examples of a simulation existing absent a physical substrate. So you can't use a simulation as an example of something absent a physical substrate. Now, you
still have to have something that created. You still have to have the thing that makes the simulation occur, unless you're thinking that everything is created by mind in mind. That there is actually no physicality, that the only thing that actually exists.
I'd like to offer Martin an aspirin or maybe some ibuprofen, because we're ganging up on it pretty heavily.
Oh, I was just. I'll shut up.
It's good.
I'll make my.
No. That's fine. But you guys go ahead and gang up on him. But I just wanted to offer him an aspirin.
Can I ask you, Martin? Can you tell me where, like your mechanism, or where? I mean, do you want to call it God? I guess is that what you're saying is God?
You can just call it an intelligence. Like.
All right. So where and how where did your intelligence start, and how? Like, can you kind of fill me in on that? Did he just put the universe into existence at the Big Bang, and everything?
Yeah, at the Big
just
Bang
went
probably.
from there, or what? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think he probably did that, but we wouldn't need a creator if we always existed. Then we wouldn't need a creator, because only things that have a beginning need a cause or a creator. So if we had no beginning, then I would 100% agree with you guys.
Wait.
There's no need for a creator.
Sorry,
there's a lot of examples of things that we don't know what created them.
No, but I just want to make sure
there's all kinds of examples of, like this right here is what you looked like when right when you were conceived, right? And then you were created out of that, and there was no creator doing that.
Sorry. I think
imagine how much programming code is in that cell to know exactly where each cell
no
has
programming
to be.
code in that
There's
cell.
programming code in that cell like crazy.
Can you show me a programming code that works by slapping physical objects against one another until they stick and something bends?
Yeah.
The computer code works physically. Have you seen that?
Does it work? Does it work by slapping two bits of code against one another until one of them bends?
The old code that ran through a machine worked mechanically. It went through the holes, and then it knew what to do because of the holes. It
worked by
that's an example. It's exactly the same as
by
DNA.
Bending something.
Yeah, it can bend stuff. You can do almost anything with code. Like
I don't think
you should watch the debate on Modern Day Debate. There was a very good debate between two atheists. Is DNA a code? And that atheist was like he knew his stuff about
by the way, his position is that DNA is not a code. I've talked to that guy. No, his position was that the genetic code is a code, but that's actually not the same as saying that DNA is a code. Now, is it? DNA is a substrate.
We're equivocating between computer code and a code.
Well, firstly, I'm sorry, but if I write down some English letters on a piece of paper, right? The English letters you could say are a code. The piece of paper is not a code, nor could it be. It can only be the substrate for a code. You cannot say that DNA is a code. DNA is a molecule. It's a substrate at best.
But you're talking about that debate between John Perry and who else?
Yeah, and John Perry agrees with me, by the way.
Right. I'm just saying. I'm just asking who was the other person.
So does Seigart.
Seigart. Okay. All right.
No, he wasn't the other person. I'm just saying they both agree with me.
Well,
that
John
DNA
Perry,
is a code. The DNA is a code.
No, the DNA is not a code.
Not a code.
Nor could it be a code.
Oh, no, Seigart believes it's a code.
No, he believes that the genetic code is a code. He does not believe DNA is a code because that would be silly. Even Otangelo understands that DNA is not a code.
You know, why did they call it the DNA code then? Why did they call it the DNA code?
They call it the genetic code.
They'd call it the DNA code.
They call it the genetic code.
Well, who's the they you're talking about, Martin? If a creationist calls it DNA code, that's one thing. But if a geneticist or a theorist like that calls it a DNA code, that's different. You know.
Yeah, you were calling it programming code, and it has no resemblance to programming code.
It has you're talking about a programming language, Speed. A programming language is built on a programming code, like our
I'm
computers.
A programmer, Martin.
I know.
I know how to write programs.
I'm just explaining
and I
for
also know
the
a bit about cell biology, and the two are not the same.
Like our computers work with binary code, and DNA works with conjunctory code.
Well, they don't really work with binary code. They work with
cells work by slapping physical noodles against one another until one of them bends and something breaks.
No. You're talking from after the genetic code has been read and executed. That's why.
How do you execute it? How do you read it?
It reads it in 3 letters at a time.
Okay.
And then it executes it.
How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you read it?
You need a machine. You need a nanomachine for that.
You slap 2 noodles against one another, right? And they stick. And then something bends and it breaks something else. That's how it works. Now show me an example anywhere else in the universe that isn't biology and isn't chemistry, that is some intelligence-only code that works that way. I'm curious.
Did you watch that Modern Day Debate between them?
Yes, I talked to him after.
And what did he say? You say
John Perry agrees with me that DNA is not a code. The genetic code is a code. That's not the same thing.
Well, on the internet they say it's the same. Like everywhere I look, I see the DNA code. Is DNA really a code? Then they explain to you why. So I don't know.
I can't speak of where you're looking, but I've had graduate coursework in biology and chemistry, so
The
Well, isn't
debate's
DNA,
name was
DNA is just a molecule. It doesn't necessarily, right? I mean,
the
are all
debate
molecules
was
code then?
Okay,
So-
there-
debate on.
So if I do a quick Google search for the phrase DNA code, the first result is from genome.gov that says genetic code.
Yeah, and again, go down and you can click everywhere. And it
The
says
next example
legit-
is from Nature that says the digital code of DNA does not say the DNA code. So what is the digital code of DNA? It is the thing encoded onto DNA. DNA can't be a code because it's a molecule. It's a substrate. Then the genetic code from Wikipedia. Then we have DNA coding, not the DNA code. I can go on. The point is it's the genetic code, not the DNA code.
Yeah, you got to talk. You got to talk. Angelo will set you straight. Even he, like Crispus says, even he knows. Mad Ducks too. I think. Pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure that John understands the difference between the code and the substrate the code is on.
I don't know about that.
He goes with the genetic code. Yes, not DNA, as far as I know.
Yeah, I guess he calls it a 3D printer.
Which is silly because it's not printing in 3 dimensions.
It's not printing 3D things.
It's printing in 1 dimension.
Yep.
Yeah, but it builds a 3D object.
No, it doesn't.
Namely,
it doesn't build a 3D object. It builds a 1-dimensional object, and then chemistry and hydrophobic bonding makes a 3-dimensional object.
Oh, and the debate was between John Perry and T Jump, and the debate's name was, "Is there a code in DNA?" And John Perry said, "Yes, there's a code."
Do you hear the difference? Do you hear the difference? If I write something down on a piece of paper, right, and I ask, "Is there a code on this piece of paper?" Right? That's not the same thing as saying, "Is this piece of paper a code?"
Yep.
This is not a pedantic point.
So there's a code in DNA. So I spoke wrong. Like I shouldn't say the DNA code. The code in DNA.
Actually, there is information encoded onto DNA. The genetic code is a property of the amino acyl transferases. Yes, that's actually it.
And do you think we can program that code?
Yeah, it's actually been done. You can actually change that by changing the nature of the amino acyl. God, I don't say these words out loud that often. Amino acyl transferases.
Amino acyl RNA synthetase. It's really hard to say 10 times in a row.
Yeah, if you're going to say immunoanal, you're going to be blocked by Otangelo.
Because the bit that of the tRNA that receives and is therefore recognized by the synthetase, right, is not actually the same as the anticodon, right? And so if we change the anticodon and keep the stem the same, we change the code. Is this sufficiently clear?
Now, Chris, you would think that if you're thinking that this is actually being done by an intelligent being, because if I'm correct, forgive my ignorance here, but there can be mistakes in that conglomerate, in that process, right? Whereas if you have somebody who's sufficient with this kind of programming, they wouldn't necessarily make those mistakes because they would know exactly where the flaws in their programming might happen. So they don't have to, if they start putting things together, they don't have to initiate it just yet. They can they can run it.
So let me just go ahead and say right now that I don't think that using the actual system of biology that you could make a perfect system, because the system that biology uses is very noisy, very clumsy, very stochastic, all of this as necessary properties of the system. Now, could a perfect designer design a better system? Absolutely. Could they make this system work perfectly? I don't think so. I don't think it's possible for this system to work perfectly by the nature of the system.
CRISPR, if it weren't for the stochastic nature, I don't think it could work.
No, that's exactly it. Yes.
Yeah.
It works by stochasticity, right?
Yeah,
So, but you could have a different system. You could have a different system of chemistry that didn't require any kind of stochasticity at all, right? And they could work perfectly. That's fine. I'm not saying you couldn't do it. I'm saying that the system that we do actually see could not be made perfect.
You know, DNA has like design strategies like automatic error correction. There's literally a machine that double checks the code and fixes the errors that it sees. It double checks the code after it's been copied.
Yeah, but the problem is that what we see sometimes, I think, in nature is that we see this running in real time, whereas in a computer world, you can run that and you can run predictions on the system before that's ever actually initiated in any reality. Whereas you'll see mistakes like that, like where you've got these things combining together where they make mistakes, as compared to that instead of making all the mistakes through a computer projection before initiating the program. Right? You can run a program and how things are going to work in an isolated bubble, and before it's ever initiated, and then run scenarios, an infinite amount of scenarios to see how the projections will turn out after combining certain things.
Sorry.
But if you're doing that in real time, that's kind of clumsy.
There are bigger problems.
Like if you're doing it real time where physical things are just kind of doing this, and then you see something that's just kind of like, what the fuck happened there?
There are bigger problems here. So firstly, are you suggesting that all life would be impossible without any kind of error correction?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
you're not saying that. Good. I agree.
I'm saying there's a design strategy which
is.
even further points to intelligence.
So okay, right. So there is, but there does not need to be error correction. Now, is it possible that error correction is selectively beneficial?
Well, we use it in our computers, and it
no, I
seems
mean
that
to
God
life.
You only use it in some.
If you have a cell, right, that has in itself a genome, right, and it's trying to reproduce itself, okay, will it reproduce itself better if it has error correction?
I think so, yeah. That's why.
Okay, so there is an adaptive. So it's not necessary that you have error correction, but it is an adaptive benefit to have error correction, which means that if you had any system occur that caused error correction, it would be selected for, wouldn't it?
But also CRISPR, sometimes with error checking in computers, it just won't run. The system will just stop.
That's true.
Yeah, you get a crash, and the same happens in
no, it won't crash.
Biology.
The whole purpose of error checking RAM is so that it preserves the original. It preserves the data. It just won't continue to where it's catastrophic. It'll just stop.
Yeah, you get different kinds of crashes. Like different
no, it
kinds
won't crash.
Errors.
The whole point of error checking RAM is that it doesn't crash.
Actually,
that's the purpose of error checking RAM.
Actually, ECC will actually does make things stop, right? Because it has to, when it notices the problem, it fixes it, which is a delay, right? ECC is always well, but no, the thing is ECC is always slower, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now the thing is that if you get a array that changes a bit in RAM, okay, non-ECC RAM, what happens? Nothing. It just keeps, everything just keeps going, right? And so let's say you're playing a video game, right? And some element in your inventory, right, is coded as a 4-byte integer, right? And cosmic ray blasts through your memory at just the right spot, and it changes a 0 to a 1. What does the game do? Does the game crash? Or does it just say, suddenly, you've got a bunch more stuff than you had before?
I think it'll stop.
Oh, no, it will not. It will just.
Oh, it would with the. I'm sorry. It would with the error checking. It wouldn't without the error checking.
Right.
Yeah.
Without the error checking, what would happen is it would just go, oh, you've got more stuff than I thought you did.
Yeah, that's why they use error checking around for like CAD designs and stuff for CAD programming.
Yeah, because you need that accuracy. Because I mean, it doesn't. The number of decimal places don't actually matter so much outside of it. But anyway, the point is that we've already here concluded that error correction, the proofreading and error correction are not necessary for life, but they are adaptively beneficial for life, which means should any occur, it will be selected for. That is a sufficient explanation. How do we explain error correction? Natural selection's good enough. It does it. And you know what? The thing is, I don't need to assume a sort of intelligence for which there is absolutely no indication it could possibly exist to explain it, because I have an explanation that works purely on the basis of known entities. And that's better. You, on the other hand, you have to assume that there existed an impossible intelligence to create this error correction.
I absolutely, there's so much evidence for him. Like there's just massive amounts of evidence.
No. The only evidence, the piece of evidence, the piece of evidence that you presented, that we just spent a few minutes discussing was error correction, right? But
that's just one of many pieces of evidence.
It's one of many, I know, but I assume that you gave it first because it was your best. So if it wasn't your best, then you made a poor choice, but that's not my fault. So we're talking about this right now. And what we've come to decide, what we've come to determine is that in point of fact, right, this thing is not required for life, but it's adaptively beneficial for life, which means that natural selection, absent intelligence, is sufficient to explain its existence. And that means that I do not have to assume the existence of an intelligence prior to biology operating, which is not possible so far as we are aware. Okay? Or the existence of a separate biology of which we have no evidence or awareness. I have to assume exactly zero additional entities beyond the ones we already know exist. That's better than your option. If you want inference to the best explanation, that's it.
Well, isn't Martin also basically saying that, like with mosquitoes, I've used the mosquitoes before in my conversations talking with people about evolution, because this is one thing that's happened because of the amount of pesticides that are used in controlling mosquitoes. There are mosquitoes that have genetically become more resistant to certain pesticides. This makes them more successful in being able to breed and pass on their genetic line. Martin, would you say that has to happen by some intelligence being outside of the physicality of the universe, or outside the physicality of reality, to go, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give these mosquitoes just a little bit of a tweak here, just trying to turn up that resistance level just a little bit here, and then say, yep, there. Now they're not going to die quite as quickly. They're still going to have time to have sex and pass on some genetic information. But other than that, that's going to be about it. Are you saying that this is the intelligence that you're referring to?
I'm saying that a creator made the initial input of the programming code, and then it runs on its own, just like our computers
how did it do that?
Own also. I don't know everything the exact. I don't know the exact way people created these computers, but I know it's created.
You're assuming you are assuming the existence of an entity for which we have no evidence, for which we do not need to infer the existence of this entity to explain the thing you are invoking the entity to explain. This is exactly the point of Occam's razor. Okay, Occam's razor slices that assumption right out.
No, I think Occam's razor is actually on my side.
It is not.
A creator is the most easiest explanation for everything. It explains everything. It's like a theory of everything.
Okay, except that we have no encounter of it. We have no evidence of it, for the things.
Throughout history.
Okay, you gave your best. Okay, hold on. You gave your best, and that got shot down. Now maybe you didn't realize you needed to start with your best. So we will take. This will be take 2. All right. This time, your best evidence. If that was your best before, your second best will have to do.
Yes, my best.
Hopefully, it's better. Okay, so what's your best?
The best evidence for a creator is cumulative evidence.
So you're saying you have no good evidence.
No, it's massive amounts of evidence. Like I can give you more evidence. Like all the Muslims, many of them, I've seen many examples of Muslims seeing God face to face and realizing they were deceived their whole life into Islam, and then realize they're following the false God.
CRISPR, can I jump in?
I'm sorry. You cannot
possibly
believe that is actually any convincing evidence to anyone.
It's direct evidence called in court. When someone testifies to seeing something, it's direct evidence, and they put their lives on the line. These Muslims testifying it because Islam calls for their death.
Has anybody ever died for something false?
Sure. But
okay, so it's not evidence of anything. Thank you, Peter. You were going to say,
Chris,
it's like saying
I had one question for you, Martin. I don't know if you saw my comment on Otangelo's channel, or if he's so butthurt that he deleted it before you got the chance to read it. But I watched Otangelo being butchered by Phil. That was actually really funny, and you put a comment under that. And I replied to that. You said you were sorry that you weren't part of the stream because you had a lot of evidence to present. And I put a comment in there that I would love to have a conversation with you and listen to all the evidence. So I'm gathering. I just jumped in. I didn't catch the start of this, so I think this might be part of it or the same thing. But if you're up for having a conversation. Sure, I'd love to have that conversation. That was it. I just wanted to know because I think Otangelo just deleted me or has me blocked on the channel. I don't know.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love to provide you as much evidence as you want.
Well, okay. So where can I contact you?
Speed has my email, but I can probably paste my email in the private chat.
Sure.
Okay. There you go.
Thanks.
And don't forget to Peter. Don't forget to bring up demons too, because that's a big thing. Martin.
What?
Demons. Right,
yeah,
Martin?
demons.
Demons.
No,
I wish demons didn't exist. Yeah.
No, here's the thing. When I have people on my show, I usually have one question: what do you believe, and why do you believe it? The why is the most important. I think that's where the evidence would come in. Well, it is one question: what do you believe and why? And then the why part of the question, it's a two-part question. It's
literally two questions.
It is one.
Let it go.
One two-part question. It is one two-part question. Rule number one: Peter's always right. If Peter's not right, that's rule number two. Automatically invoke rule number one. That's it.
Peter. Actually, one of the things, it's actually not the most important, because one of the questions that I always stump Otangelo with is how.
Yeah, I stopped doing that because that's the question that he can't answer, and he will avoid and he will get angry if you press him on it. So that I've started avoiding asking that question because it gets me nowhere. But yeah, sad.
And then he starts sounding like he's sexually frustrated.
Yes, pretty much. But I'd love to have a talk with you, Martin. I really do. So I'll send you an email.
Yeah, and Peter, I love your name, and I love David's name as well. It's awesome names. You could probably guess why.
From the Bible, right?
Yeah.
I just hope you don't love it because of the connotations that my name has. Because in certain parts of the world, it has completely different meaning.
What does it mean?
Another male.
Same thing that William's nickname means.
Yeah. In America, it's short for William or Dick. So.
No, that's Richard, but yes, also true. I was referring to.
Oh yeah, Richard. Yeah, for William is Bill. Sorry.
Or Willie.
Yeah, Willie.
Yeah. You gotta blame the British for that stuff.
But
Yeah.
CRISPR, I would love to.
I cursed Simus earlier, so he's in bed. He won't be available for a couple of days. No, he's really sick. So that's mean.
CRISPR, I'm gonna send in the private chat a video for you which provides direct evidence for a creator.
All right, now I'm not gonna click that link and be back in 5 seconds to say it's not actually direct evidence.
No.
Am I?
You can watch it sometime if you want evidence for a creator, but if you don't.
Okay, but if I watch it and I think in the first 5 seconds this is not direct evidence.
Where's this evidence?
It's in science it's called direct evidence when someone testifies to seeing something. It's
testimony
called
is necessarily first.
That is indirect evidence.
No, it's direct.
Sorry, another
eyewitness testimony. Eyewitness testimony
is the weakest form of evidence there is. Yes,
and somebody else's personal experiences mean nothing to me.
Hey, CRISPR, I had a dream. I had a dream last night. I talked to a sandwich.
I post a link.
I don't know. I'm just trying to contribute.
You guys can. I would love to for one of you guys to watch something. And
a 54-minute video. Are you serious?
You don't have to watch it. Like that's just one piece of evidence of many. Like
a YouTube video, direct evidence for God.
Okay.
In a YouTube
Okay,
video.
I'm going to tell you this again. Again. You need to lead with your best. All right. So at the very least, give me a time stamp.
I told you the best evidence is a cumulative evidence.
So you're saying you have no good evidence.
That's the best evidence. That's the good evidence. Cumulative evidence. Okay. My favorite evidence
the thing is hold on. I gotta tell you something though, right? Because here's the thing, right? You can say that cumulative evidence is the best evidence, and I could even be convinced to agree with that, right? But here's the thing: testimony of a personal experience that cannot be verified is not evidence, which means you can add 0 to 0 to 0 to 0 to 0 as many times as you want, and it doesn't add up to anything. Okay? So if you want to make a cumulative case, that's fine, but you should still start with the biggest piece of that cumulative case, and that biggest piece should be greater than 0.
Yeah, and any given piece should already be evidence. So you can pick pretty much any piece, because any piece should be evidence, and then cumulative evidence would make your case stronger. That's how it works. If you have things that are not evidence for God and you keep stacking those, you won't get to evidence for God, no matter how many you stack on top of each other. It
Martin,
doesn't.
How well do you know? You obviously know on Tangelo. I think you guys are very similar on your,
not everything, but
but very similar as far as the cumulative part of it, right? On Tangelo is very big on that too. So you guys are similar in that way, right?
I think that's a little bit insulting. I've seen Martin a couple of times. Martin doesn't need to be treated with kid gloves. It's
that
you can actually have a conversation with him, and he doesn't get insulted, and you don't have to tiptoe around things, and you can't make a joke, and so
right. I agree with that 100%.
So there's a big difference.
The Bible says when you guys start talking nice about me, then I'm in trouble.
No, and Martin, if you go to my channel, last weekend we had a guest on, a Christian, for the 3rd time in a row.
So,
and this is a really nice guy. He's 100% sincere. I don't agree with what he believes and how he thinks, but he is at least 100% sincere. Something Otangelo is not, and he will answer every question. And if his answer has to be, I don't know, he's not afraid to say it. And that is
100% sincerely wrong, is what you're telling me.
Okay.
No,
okay.
he
The last
believes.
Christmas-
I'm sorry, I'm just making a joke.
No, I have to stick up for him. He believes what he believes.
Yeah, but
The fact
he
that
could be wrong.
what he believes isn't always correct, I'll give you that. But at least he's sincere. He's not lying. He's not dancing around questions because he doesn't want to answer them. And he did struggle at times in the conversations that we had. And you can actually see him on screen struggling. But
I might also struggle.
Well,
I just think
it doesn't matter because here's the thing. If I talk to you, it's not about winning. I don't want to make you into an atheist, and I don't think that you're going to make me into a theist. If we have that established from the get-go, then we can have a decent conversation, and we can see whether or not the other side has a point that holds any merit. And that is the part that I'm curious about. And we do this show, and then the next one, you get to turn the tables. You come up with a topic that you want to talk about. Don't tell us up front. Only tell us the moment we go live, and then we're going to spend an entire show talking about your topic. And because I think that is
what?
I think that is the most honest way to get to this. And this is why I enjoy having these conversations. Sadly enough, not a lot of Christians come back for the second show.
Okay, now a link was posted to my attention several minutes ago, and I don't want to let it get too far away. So the thing is, right, is that so just to read the description underneath the video that was linked to me. And I'm just quoting from the video description. In Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, the gang encounters real zombies and ghosts for the first time, but Fred explains away the evidence by appealing to increasingly absurd naturalistic explanations. In the end, even Fred recognizes that his explanations simply can't account for the facts. Here's the problem with that.
Jesus
the explanations
Christ.
do account for the facts. Everything you've presented thus far
Just watch
has
the
been
whole
accounted
video.
for.
You
has been
read like
accounted
this
for.
short thing, and then you think,
CRISPR, is that your only objection? Is that your only objection? Because
So the
my
thing
objection would be in the very first sentence.
So
In Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, the gang encountered real zombies, real ones, not
in that
fake
world, yes.
zombies,
That-
real
that's
ones.
just an example.
Yeah, no. So here's the thing. Again, I'm sorry I have to point this out to you. I was given this link to a video of some length during a live discussion, right? And I assume
just watch it
that
sometime.
I assume that either A, there is something I can read within 10 seconds, or there's a timestamp. And since there wasn't a timestamp, I got to assume you want me to read the description, and from that, I will get at least a sufficient idea to know the point of the video. Now, if
I wish
you want,
everyone could see that video I posted there, so that everyone can see your biggest problem. Like which is hard. Makes it hard for me to help you.
the biggest problem, I suppose, is that you haven't presented any evidence. You've presented things you think are evidence.
You
They
sound
are
the same
not.
as flat earthers. The flat earthers also just say there's no evidence. You haven't presented any
Wow,
evidence.
that's insulting.
I've got a question for you, and some of the people on this panel might even know him. He used to be known as Justin Downing. Used to be a Christian, became an atheist, and is now a Muslim called Khalil Allah. He's one of at least 10 I could get you into in contact with, who
I would love to.
used to be Christian and are now Muslim. So if, let's say, if I could actually have you talk to these people, do you think that would make you a Muslim? Do you think that now their point of view... So if that is the case, then why have us watch a video where former Muslims became Christians, and that somehow is evidence for God? Because you just rejected the exact same evidence for Allah.
What
you don't
would
understand
consider,
the evidence. Like,
what
if
would
you
you
got
consider?
Yeah,
What would you
sorry.
consider as sufficient evidence of Islam for you to convert?
Well, Islam claims to follow the same God as the Christian God and the Muslim God, but they're just deceived. It's not the same God.
Okay, so no,
It's just
I'm
plainly
sorry.
deceived.
That it seemed like I asked
So
you
I don't know.
what would
I don't
convince you.
know.
What? Oh, so it's
Perhaps,
fine to say
wait.
it's fine to say you don't know what kind of evidence would convince you, right?
Wait.
That's okay.
Yeah. No, but
Okay.
I'm gonna try and figure something out. Like, I think it's
Okay, no,
if God came to me, like this
No,
evidence would go.
you missed the point, Martin.
No,
I
actually,
think
you know what? I agree. I think you're onto something there, right? Is that I think we can both agree. I think we can both agree that if God exists, the Christian God, the Islamic God, whichever God it is we want to talk about, right? If they exist, right? Whatever would convince me or convince you, they know it and they can do it if they want to, right? You'd agree to that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, unless it happens to be that one or the other or both of us is so made that we can't believe, but that's God's will, I guess, if that's true. But which I don't know if you're a Calvinist. Calvinists, I think, believe that there are some people who are made so that they cannot be saved. That's God's decision, his will to do
I'm
it.
not a Calvinist.
Well, okay, so if you believe that everybody could be saved, firstly, that seems like that's something that they have to do. So that's works-based salvation, isn't it?
No, it's just like
it's no good.
Giving a free gift for someone. You can reject it or you can accept it.
So there's the thing you have to do is accept it.
Yeah.
So it's works. That's a work. Great.
That's not a work.
Works-based salvation. Fantastic.
Martin,
If I give you a gift, then you're gonna say, "Yo, I worked so hard for this gift because
Martin, what is the free gift? What is the free gift?
It's forgiveness through Christ.
Oh, then I already have it, right?
No, you have to accept it.
So there's something I can do that I personally can do. It's not God doing it; it's me doing it, right?
Let me try and
it's
get
not
at
a work.
this. Let me try and get at this from another point of view. I live in a tiny cabin in the forest. So if some morning I wake up and there's a tiny box in front of my front door that has $100,000 in it, and it says there's a little note inside and says free gift, and I accept it. I have no clue who gave it to me. I have nothing to do with the person who gave it to me. Even if they would put on a name and this is me, I gave this to you. If I then choose not to interact with the person who gave it to me, but I accept the gift. So let's say if I transpose the same thing onto your Jesus. So he offers forgiveness, I accept it, and I choose not to have anything to do with him. What happens?
Hey, Peter, that's Buddhism.
No, I'm just curious what happens.
It's Buddhism.
I'm not sure. If you want to, I'm not sure. I haven't thought about it.
If that is an option, I accept the gift, and I still don't recognize your God, and I still don't worship your God. But
if I was atheist, I would do the same. I would accept the gift, and I would ask God, like, help me in my unbelief. Help me to, like.
Why would I help him?
And I think if you search,
hold on. Why would I ask him for anything? I just said I don't want anything to do with him. I accept
because
it.
You're accepting the.
Right.
You're asking to accept the gift, like you're accepting it, like you're talking to him and then accepting it.
No, I'm not talking to him. I just accept the gift. As I said,
you would accept it.
In my example, I open the door. There's a gift. I accept it. I see who gave it to me, and I choose never to interact with that particular person. But I'll accept the gift. If I do the same to Christianity, if I accept the gift that I'm forgiven, okay, so now I'm forgiven. Some people would call me born again, except I'm not a Christian because I'm not accepting Jesus as my Lord and Savior. I'm not accepting that there is a God. I'm not accepting.
But then you're not accepting the gift. Or what?
No, hold on.
Peter, you're
Wait a minute.
going to hell. You're going to hell. That's all there is to it.
No. But now I'm curious. You said the gift was forgiveness.
Yeah, through Christ. You're
It's
accepting
it's-
forgiveness
so
through
for-
Christ.
It's
So
conditional.
I'm forgiven for anything that I can do, but I won't be forgiven for not believing in him. That is the gift. So it's forgiveness, except
It's
one
not.
thing.
It's are all
it's
free
not,
gifts. The
then
question
it's
to
not
ask is,
forgiveness.
well, the real question to ask is salvation? If salvation is a free gift, are free gifts necessarily conditional or contingent?
Yeah, you have
on
to
something?
take it. You have to take it. Like
I take it,
Well-
but I take it, but I don't then accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
like,
accept the gift that He's giving me.
well, there's a better example. If Peter has $10,000 in debt, he's got his $10,000 debt that he can't pay, and I pay it off. I pay off his $10,000 debt, and he doesn't have to accept that I paid off that $10,000 debt, right?
Can you
But
do
it
that for
doesn't
me
change the
too?
fact that it doesn't.
I could
Can
use
I
it.
get your email
Well,
address too?
Yeah.
I haven't won the lotto
please.
yet. I haven't won the lotto yet. So don't
Shit.
be. Wait
Okay.
till I win the lotto. Then you guys can come groveling to me like Christ on the mound. Now Speed's channel is going to get flagged.
No. Jay,
but
I like
that's-
your idea, but I think you should turn it around because and this is the problem that I have with Christ as my Lord and Savior. So let's say Martin, I don't know if you have any siblings, so let's assume you have a sister. You have a little sister, and I kill your little sister gruesomely. And then Jay says, "Okay, I'll go to jail for Peter." Would you
No,
accept that?
no,
Would you
it's-
accept that
it's
I
more like-
go free and can do whatever I want?
it's
And
more
Jay
like
goes,
the president of the country saying you're free to go. It's more like that, but it's still not 100% like that. But it's more
No,
like
but
that. Like
would-
you're
would-
free. And
would
you
it
can
be-
reject it. You can
no.
actually
And
reject that.
the question is, would you, who just lost your sister, would accept that Jay is now getting the punishment, and he could get death, the death sentence, let's say, and I get nothing. I just get to be free and do whatever I want. Maybe I'll want to do it again. Would you think that is a good system?
There's a difference. It's more like a payment, like Jay said. That it's more like a payment, like a loving father coming to pay your fine so that you don't go to jail, or pay your bail.
But hold on. Sin is not just paying a fine. Sin is pretty much everything that goes against God's will, which includes murder, by the way.
Well, I think Peter's analogy is a little bit better because it's not just payment of something. You are at least under. I think it's interesting that we went from demonstrating an intelligent designer to soteriology, but that's beside the point. I had to step away for a little bit. Either way, yeah, sin at least is a death sentence. It separates us from God, and that is, I think, what Peter is talking about. Instead of Peter taking the blame and facing death, I face death in his stead. The only interesting thing is that I can't die.
Yeah, but that's not the analogy that God gives us. Like He says that we owe Him a payment, and He writes that payment off, and He takes the punishment for that.
Well, there's different different views on soteriology. Some hold to kind of a ransom. Sense.
I got a problem.
Is another.
So how come Christians keep telling me that Christ paid for my sins if it's not a payment?
I said it's a payment.
He said it was a payment.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you said it was not a payment. Sorry, my bad.
What you're talking about is a price must be paid because of the sin. So there's a sin debt.
God is just, so he has to punish evil. Otherwise, he would be evil. If he doesn't punish evil, he would be evil.
Oh,
no,
hold on. But
no
sin
goes unpunished.
In my example that I gave, he doesn't punish evil.
He does.
Because he lets me get away with evil and someone else pays for me.
Yeah, but you have to be, there's a problem there, Peter, though, because the problem with that in levels of, in different areas of soteriology is that you become regenerated and that you won't actually do that again. But it is kind of interesting that you aren't actually paying that. So yeah, because that's the grace, right? There's that issue of grace and mercy. And that's something that I think Martin is leaving out there. You are paying for it, but it's by grace that you are able to continue on not having to pay it anymore.
Yeah.
I think evil is actually very good evidence for a creator, because like demons, like if demons exist, would you guys realize that God exists, or wouldn't it be evidence?
Yes, but you'd have to. But if you hold to the idea that God created everything, then God created demons.
Yeah,
yeah, because they were fallen angels.
Yeah, but he would also.
Hold
he would have been responsible.
It's a little bit worse than just saying fallen angels, because God created them to become fallen angels. He knew that up front.
Yeah, that
and
becomes,
he created them
becomes a whole
just for that specific purpose.
Let's let Martin tell us about the demons.
Yeah. I want to.
Please.
What do you want to know? Like,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is anything that he has to tell us about the demons going to be something that isn't somebody's personal experience?
Oh, but there's a code. You see, Christopher, there's a code.
Can I get a tissue sample from these demons? Maybe
wait a minute.
It's like you're like saying.
I'd like an example. I'd like an example of a demon encounter from someone who has surveillance cameras around and in their house.
Hold on, Peter. Christopher, according to some of these Christian theists that I talk to here online, I'll send you a couple used socks. You'll have all the tissue samples of demons that you need.
So, tell us one demon story, at least one. Tell us one.
I wanna actually talk to. I'll talk about that. But Leo, he said something about that he did a lot of research about demons. I would love to hear what he was researching about, because I think I heard him once say that he did a lot of research about it. And he came to the conclusion. I don't know what conclusion he didn't say.
He went to the same place you went to, University of YouTube.
No, I have personal experience as well with this stuff. I've done tests on it.
Okay, so wait, are you? Now let me at least ask this: if we were to run a black light over the area where the demon experience was, would things light up? Is that what you're telling us?
Oh God, Christopher.
Or would if you turn my socks inside out, you know what I'm saying?
Would that video violate YouTube's terms and services?
Christopher, he's going to send you another YouTube video. Hold on.
Hey, Martin, can you tell us about a demon experience?
Yes.
I've had a lot. Even my nephew has driven out demons. But my demon experience is I watched Emily Rose. You know, the exorcism of Emily Rose. It's based on a true story.
Okay. Before you continue, I watched that movie also, and I shit you not, the power went out. It freaks me out, but it didn't get me to believe in demons.
Stuff like that.
I'm sorry. Your evidence is the existence of a movie?
No. I'm explaining.
Hold on. I've got a confession to make, because not everyone on the panel may know this. I think Christopher might know. I've had an encounter with aliens. Do aliens exist now?
It's demons.
I mean,
from my research. Aliens. Wait, listen. Yeah, from my research, all these alien experience, aliens don't exist. It's just demons. If you use Jesus's name, the whole experience stops.
I was in a car. I was in a car with one from driving from Cologne in Germany to the South German border, close to the Swiss border. I had an alien.
What's your definition of an alien?
Hold on. I had an alien
what did you consume
sitting
what
next
did you
to me.
consume in Cologne?
Sorry,
What
there's
did you
a lot of
consume in
people.
Cologne?
Coffee.
Sorry, Peter. There's a lot of people in my country who have experiences with aliens near the southern border too. So that might be related.
Hold on. No, I am 100% serious because this actually happened. and
Depends what your
scared-
definition of
scared
an alien is.
and scared the shit out of me
What's your definition?
for several
Close
years
encounters of the third kind.
until I found out what actually happened. But I'm curious because to me this was as real. This alien was as real to me as I'm looking at you, Martin, on the camera. He was sitting next to me. I can describe him to this day.
Speed is
Okay,
very
guys.
excited about the demons. Tell
Hey,
the
we
demons.
did not
So-
let Martin. We didn't let Martin finish his.
Yeah,
story.
sorry, go
please,
ahead.
Molly Rose, please.
Tell your story.
Listen.
But I'll
Last night
just-
I had a conversation with LaGuardia, and he's been dead for over 40 years.
Let him
Sorry,
finish.
I watched.
How big was that Twinkie?
Tell him about
But-
the Twinkie.
Martin, please tell us after the Emily Rose movie. Okay, go.
Okay, but but I just want to add a little bit to that Peter's thing. Is he talking about illegal aliens? We can talk about.
No. No, what I'm talking about is what you would call the gray aliens, the type that supposedly crashed in Roswell.
You
One
saw that.
like that,
Okay.
one like that was sitting next to me. He was
We
slightly
can
taller.
chat about that later. Okay.
I'll be more than happy to talk. There's several videos on my channel where I talk about this experience.
Okay, I'll go
Okay,
on.
but
Yeah,
we
you can
need
send me those
Martin's
videos.
demon.
Yeah.
Martin, you're demon.
Okay. Okay. We watched that Emily Rose video, and it's based on a true story of a girl. And me, my dad, and my brother woke up at 3 a.m. for 3 nights in a row, and I was like super scared. And I was like, "What the hell is this? I'm gonna do tests on this." And then I met other guys. They didn't even finish the movie, and they woke up at 3. And I told my friend I want to do tests on him. He didn't even watch the movie. He woke up at 3, and he said, "No, he's not gonna do tests." Then I did a test on a guy in India or something, and he said he said he woke his light went off next to his clock, and it
And
was
right
exactly
now-
3 a.m. and his vase fell.
And anyone
And it scared the
if you
hell
know
out
that-
of him, and he contacted me late at night, super late at night, and he was super scared. And so I just sent him a video of a Muslim, the same happening to a Muslim, and which call out for Jesus, and then the whole experience stopped. So
I
then he
mean,
wasn't
Martin,
afraid anymore.
Wait,
Okay,
That's
Martin,
just
what
one
you just
of many.
wait, Martin, what you just said right there. Any mentalist that hears this portion of the conversation is going to be salivating for how much money they can take from you and your friends.
But also,
okay,
and
Martin,
this-
Martin, I would like to say something to Martin about this. I've had 2 experiences like that in my life, and they both involve waking up in the middle of the night at around the same time for 3 days after an experience, right? Okay, that is a very common human experience, and it has to do
It's
with how
weird.
dreams work. It is weird.
It's called the 3 I
And
call
it
it
fucks you
3
up.
a.m. phenomenon because
so
even
so your
even
evidence for demons is the number 3. I just want to point that out. The number
No,
3 is the evidence for demons.
No, what they do is they mock the miracle hour where Jesus died
Wait,
on the
3
cross.
a.m.
They
3
do the
a.m.
opposite of that.
3 a.m. is the
3
miracle
p.m.
hour.
No, it's the opposite. They call it the witching hour or something. I still want to make a video of it because so many people experience it.
So 3
And
p.m. is the holy hour. 3 a.m. is the witching hour, right?
3 a.m. is the so-called witching hour, but it's freaky. Like even the UFOs, they come out at 3 a.m. I don't know why, but there's lots of observatories or people.
Well,
that
you're
testify they come out at 3 a.m.
you're doing so much cause and effect. It's not even funny.
Hey, Martin, I've got one for you. It's a neat little phenomenon. So I found out from watching this movie called Reign of Fire that if you go after a dragon between like dusk, right at the time of dusk, the waning light throws off their vision. It's the best time that you can kill a dragon.
God damn.
Sounds good.
That's also
Damn.
written in some
You actually
vampires.
get a dragon. The Komodo dragon.
That actually reminds me.
You gotta get
I'm
rid of
starting to wonder if maybe Peter wasn't chasing the dragon when he saw his alien.
Hold on. I can top this. So you saw a movie, Martin. So let me, for a moment, switch on my camera. So what you're seeing right now is a spaceship. It's the spaceship of the aliens that I talked about. Now watch closely what happens.
That looks fucking cool. That looks
awesome.
So you can talk to me about movies, and I'm really happy to talk to you about movies. But keep in mind, they might not be real like you think they are. And
I'm saying
can just
based on a true story.
I can snap my fingers again.
Okay, that effect is fucking awesome. I want that. I'm gonna use that.
How much truth is legally required to say that something is based on a true story?
Like, Axel's Ridge.
That's a good point. That's a good question.
Axel's Ridge is also based on a true story, and it doesn't look like real war, but it's based on real war. And someone can say, "Look, it's fake. They're not really shooting."
Star Trek is based on a true story. Believe me, bro.
Axel Ridge.
Martin, do you want me to top it, and do you want me to produce
Peter,
God?
I can solve this.
No, hold on. No, wait. Do you want me to produce?
I can refute this right now. I can possibly refute this right now. Who played Emily Rose in the movie? If you don't know that, you're done.
Hold on. No, wait a minute. Martin, do you want me to produce God? Because I can do that as well. Watch.
Is that your God?
Well played, Peter.
Is that the God you follow, Peter?
Now we need to move into Stargate, and we're gonna fucking just round this whole thing right out.
What the fuck?
You have cool effects, Peter.
I can do this all day. What I'm trying to prove here is that if you watch a movie, that's not evidence for demons. If it's based on a true story,
it's based on a true story. It's based on.
Hold on. If it's based on a true story, like Stargate was, because Stargate is based on all the old Egyptian gods. The one that you see in the Stargate right there is Hathor. Her real name is Sue Ann Brown, and she lives in London. And I talked to her a couple of days ago.
Why is he using Emily Rose? Why not use the Conjuring movies? Those are based on real accounts.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen any effect it had on people like this girl.
The problem with all of this is the movie may be based on a real story. That doesn't make the story true.
Yeah, you don't have to believe it. Like I really badly don't want demons to exist. I really badly don't want demons to exist, and I don't think people even need to believe in demons.
Man, I've got good news for you then.
Yeah, they don't.
Unfortunately, there's lots of evidence that they exist.
Yeah, but again, your standard of evidence is really bad.
Actually,
you just don't understand what evidence means.
Actually, there's no evidence they exist.
Well,
no evidence whatsoever that
there's tons of evidence I'm God. Can you believe me that I'm God?
Wait, can I say something here real quick? This reminds me what Martin's talking about would be like if I came in here and I said, you know how I know that zombies exist? Because this one time I was sitting at home and I was watching Dawn of the Dead, right? And Dawn of the Dead, I was watching the movie and the power went out. So we had to light the house up with candles and everything. And the movie just scared the shit out of me. And I knew that zombies existed so much that I loaded up my 12-gauge shotgun. So in case there was some zombie little girl that showed up in our doorway in the middle of the night, I was going to blow her away. I mean, come on.
Well, Jay, just in that scenario, just imagine if there actually was a little girl that came up to your door at night selling cookies.
I told my wife, no, this is the bedroom door. I said, I don't give a shit if that kid is real. If they're standing there at our bedroom door, they've gotten into the house, I'm shooting first and asking questions later.
Yep. I'm curious. We're talking about demons, and no one here. No, hold on. No one here is talking about the fact that we recently could have listened to an actual exorcism being performed in real time. Anyone else subscribe to Tom Rabbit's channel?
He just did
come
that.
on.
Yeah, that was yesterday, right, or today?
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he posted part 2 today.
of what?
That's their
Well, that
defense
reminds
of
me,
it. That's their defense of it.
I
Sorry,
was
Christopher,
once
sorry.
accused of being possessed by demons, which I thought was hilarious.
I mean,
Not so, Christopher.
It couldn't happen to a better guy, Christopher.
Somebody
Somebody
tried to insult me, and I was amused by it, so I taught him a better way to do things.
I've been hit with that same accusation.
So, Martin, your biggest problem with atheists is you think that atheists like just dismiss evidence, right? That seems to be like your biggest thing that bothers you. You think we just
it's not. It's just
make up
doesn't-
excuses with stuff?
I
like
want to
you
help atheists. You know, understand? I want to help them out of love for them. Okay, that's why.
well,
I try and help them.
and that's
And-
that's good and all, but that
Good
That-
and all.
what?
I always like that phrase, good and all. That's good and all. The Good and All Chronicles. Go ahead. Sorry, I just
wanted to say, like that, that feeling is nice and all, but is that better? I use the word nice, but
the nice and all Chronicles instead of the Good and All Chronicles. I'm just fucking with you, dude. Sorry.
no, I know. The point,
Nice midnight, nice.
yes. The point I'm trying to make is, having a feeling like that is good, but at the same time, it can be misused and misdirected. You know what I mean? Yeah, I care about humanity too. I want to help, Christians also and religious people also, but if they don't want to see things my way, then okay. Well, I shouldn't say
boys and
my
girls,
way, but
we have to shoot it in the head pretty quick. I got a thing.
come on.
We got it because I got a thing to do. I got a thing.
Well, so do I.
Okay, can you play my short clip before we
No.
end? No, okay.
Just
It's like a
reminded me-
1 second
just
or
reminded-
something clip.
Just reminded me of another movie,
What
Cabin
clip?
in the Woods. You will see
I
me.
sent
You will
a
come to
small-
see things my way.
Small clip.
What clip?
Can you see it? I sent this short you're supposed to be able to add it, or can't you add it?
Yeah, you should be. Oh, there it is.
You
Okay,
see it?
okay. Got it.
There were
Wait.
demons. Like the
Wait.
voices were telling me, like, fucking
it's
suffocate
timing out.
yourself to death. They're urging me to kill myself, and it was like super dark and gnarly and super scary. Yourself to death.
Oh,
A
that's
highly,
For sure.
highly
It's
reliable
like the
witness
voices
there.
Yeah, that's just one example. There are many more. I can give you more. Do you want
Okay.
more?
Martin, I gave you. This is a guy who's on a video. I gave you something that happened to me, and you that wasn't even interesting enough for you to
No,
follow
I
up
want to
on.
no. I
It-
said send me a video.
I can tell you,
of
I can
your
tell
experience.
you, I can tell you that experience was 100% real.
But send
and
me
I
the
didn't
experience so
know-
I can investigate.
I didn't know what happened for several years. I lost almost 24 hours of time, had no clue what happened. In that 24 hours, I drove to Basel in Germany, from Basel back to Heidelberg in Germany. And
Opium
I
is
have
a hell of a
no
drug.
recollection. I have no recollection of that entire 24 hour.
Do
Nothing.
you have a video of this? This we explained.
Why the hell would he have a video of it?
I don't have a video, but
Yeah,
I
he's
was
not
a truck-
Russian.
At that time, I was a truck driver in the Netherlands. Your
Peter.
rides are registered. Hold on, Jay, hold on.
I could repeat
No,
that. No
Those
problem.
are registered. There's a card in your tachometer that will record the speed you're driving, the amount of time you're driving, and the distance you're driving. When I had my blackout, I floored it. And so that resulted in me driving at least 40 kilometers above the speed limit. I came back, the truck was damaged. I have no clue what hit it, but I have the disc as evidence, and I had to smuggle out the disc because if my boss would have noticed that I would have been driving that fast for such a long time, I would have been fired on the spot. So I switched it out. I faked another one. I faked the date, and he never found out. I still have that disc from the
Interesting.
registration device that backs up my story. So
Yeah,
I
wanna
at
hear
least
more
have
of this.
one piece. I have
Hey,
one
boys
piece
and
of evidence.
girls, I've got a video. I was possessed by a demon just now, and I gotta go. I gotta go. Demons
Well,
making me.
I guess we could talk off air if if Martin.
I have no
or
clue
whatever.
what to say, Speed, because you sound no different from any other
Well, I
time.
know.
It's
Yeah.
the-
Well,
it's the
that's
shit-
because
it's a-
the other
it's a
demon,
sh-
Peter.
It's the shit demon. It's the shit demon that's talking. It's
The
knocking at the
crayon.
devil's back gate.
It's the
I should-
crayon.
My son is getting the leash. He's taking me for a walk. I haven't gone for a walk with him for a while, so I gotta go. But midnight, you could, do that like an after weather report show on your channel and invite everybody over there and continue this.
Okay, well, let's do that. Let me set it up.
Anyway, I got a video for you guys. I got
At
a
least
video
we
for
made
you.
it entertaining, right? Speed, we made it pretty entertaining today.
You did good,
Pretty cool.
David.
We even
I
had a
have
bug
a
on the
headache.
screen.
I mean,
Mark, it was
Speed,
great to have you on. I hope you didn't feel too
Speed.
overwhelmed.
Speed, if you get possessed by a demon, at least make it so there's something different in your voice or something that we can actually hear that something is going on.
You know, I'm all about the deadpan, so no.
I got
all
the-
about
I got a
that
headache.
Thanks, Martin.
Face, no treble.
Maybe he's
Martin,
been
Okay.
possessed by a
Hello?
demon this whole time.
Thank you for enduring, Martin. And I got a
Okay,
video
it's
for you
scheduled.
guys. Here's a
Okay,
video.
Speed,